What if your independence was being stolen right now, silently, and you would only find out when it was too late? This isn't a distant concern. It's the reality of a silent epidemic that could be weakening your structure without any warning. But what no one tells you is that the real protection for your bones might not be where you've always imagined. And I will reveal the secret to a long life with strength and autonomy. I am Dr. Kevin DeVries. Osteoporosis, the silent epidemic. Think with me. What if I told you there is a condition that could be, at this very moment, stealing your independence without giving any sign? A silent enemy that works from the inside, weakening the structure that keeps you standing, and you will only find out when it's too late. This disease exists. It's called osteoporosis, and it's a true silent epidemic in Brazil. What no one tells you is that it doesn't hurt, it doesn't warn, it doesn't send a message. It just happens. I see this every day in my clinical practice. People full of life who suddenly find themselves limited by a fracture that seemed impossible. Pay attention. Our bone is a living tissue, constantly renewing itself. Imagine a brick wall that is always under renovation. You have a team that removes the old bricks and another that puts new bricks in place. This balance keeps the wall strong and safe. The problem is that, especially after the age of 40, the demolition team starts working at a much faster pace than the construction team. The result? The wall, which is your bone, becomes porous, fragile, full of empty spaces. It looks firm on the outside, but inside it's as weak as an eggshell. That's why a fall that would have resulted in nothing in youth can mean a serious hip, wrist, or spine fracture in maturity. I remember a patient who was getting up from a chair, put his weight down a bit more abruptly, and fractured a vertebra. He didn't fall. There was no major trauma. The bone simply couldn't support the weight of his own body. The great and dangerous trap of osteoporosis is this absence of symptoms. You don't feel your bone losing mass. There is no natural alarm from the body. The pain only appears when the consequence arrives, which is the fracture. And a fracture at this stage of life can be the beginning of the loss of your autonomy, your freedom to come and go, and lead to very serious health complications. The milk paradox and the complexity of calcium. You probably grew up hearing that to have strong bones, the secret was to drink a lot of milk. I myself heard that my whole life. But in my clinical practice, I need to warn you that this truth is not so simple, and believing it blindly can be dangerous. What no one tells you is that over the years, many people's bodies begin to have difficulty digesting milk. It's the famous lactose intolerance, which is not just a problem for young people, on the contrary. Think with me. If your intestine gets irritated and can't process the milk properly, how is it going to absorb the good things in it, including calcium? It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. The nutrient gets in, but it doesn't stay where it should. And here the story gets even more serious. There's something that we, doctors, call the calcium paradox, and you need to understand this. The countries that consume the most milk and dairy products in the world, like the United States and some in Europe, are precisely the ones with the highest rates of osteoporosis and fractures. It seems crazy, doesn't it? But it makes sense when we understand the body. This happens because calcium is like a brick in the wall of your bone. Alone, it does nothing. It needs cement, workers, a whole team to be fixed in the right place. These helpers are other nutrients, other vitamins, that work together with it. Without this complete team, the calcium from milk can simply pass through your body without being used, or worse, be deposited where it shouldn't. Therefore, pay attention. Thinking that just one glass of milk a day is shielding your bones is a trap, a silent enemy that gives you a false sense of security, while your structure may be weakening in silence, without giving you any warning. The orchestra of bone health, the essential nutrients. Think with me, if you wanted to build a strong wall, would it be enough to just throw a bunch of bricks on the ground? Of course not. You would need a master builder to organize everything, a system to take each brick to the right place, and cement to bind it all together. With our bones, the reasoning is exactly the same, and what no one tells you is that taking only calcium can be like throwing bricks to the wind. Calcium is, indeed, the fundamental brick of our bone structure, but it doesn't work alone. It needs a complete orchestra for the magic to happen. The first essential musician is vitamin D. I call it the conductor, because without it, the body simply cannot absorb the calcium you ingest. You can drink liters of milk and eat pounds of cheese, But if your vitamin D is low, it's as if the door to your intestine is closed to calcium. It just passes right through and is gone. Pay attention now, because here comes a crucial detail. Once calcium is absorbed, it needs to know where to go. That's where vitamin K2, our GPS, comes in. It takes calcium by the hand and directs it to the right places, the bones and teeth. Without this direction, calcium gets lost in the body and can be deposited where it shouldn't, like in the arteries, hardening what should be flexible. This is a silent enemy that can compromise your cardiovascular health without giving a single sign. Finally, we have magnesium, which I see as the ignition for the whole process. It's the spark that activates vitamin D, our conductor. Without magnesium, the conductor can't conduct the orchestra properly. Furthermore, magnesium itself makes up part of the bone structure, acting as the cement that binds the bricks together. Therefore, don't delude yourself into thinking that a single nutrient will solve your bone health. It's this fine-tuning, this collaboration between calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K2, and magnesium that ensures a truly strong and resilient bone structure, capable of supporting you safely for your entire life. Chia seed, nutrition and anti-inflammatory protection. Many people I see in my office arrive with a very real fear, the fear of a fall, of breaking a bone, and suddenly losing their independence. What few know is that often the weakening of the bones doesn't happen overnight. It is fed by a silent enemy that works slowly, without making any noise. Pay attention, because today I'm going to show you how a powerful little seed can be one of your best allies in this battle. I'm talking about chia. With just 2 tablespoons a day, you give your body a significant dose of calcium. But here's a detail that almost no one notices. It's not enough to just provide calcium. Think with me. To build a strong wall, you don't just use bricks, right? You need cement to bind them together. In our body, phosphorus and magnesium, also present in chia, act as this cement, helping to fix the calcium in the right place, your bones. But what no one tells you, the real secret of chia, is its anti-inflammatory power. It is extremely rich in omega-3. Now, what is this chronic inflammation? Imagine a small fire, a very small one, burning nonstop inside you. You don't feel the smoke or the heat, but day after day, it damages the structures of your body. And one of the first victims of this silent fire is your bones. This process wears down and accelerates bone mass loss, leaving you more fragile. I remember a patient, Mrs. Lucia, who was very careful. She took her calcium supplement, went for light walks, but with every exam, her bone density seemed to decrease a little. She would tell me, "Doctor, I do everything right. What is happening?" What was happening was this silent fire. When we adjusted her diet to combat this inflammation, including chia, the story began to change. The good news is that you can start putting out this fire today. And here's a golden tip, which I always give my patients. There's no point in eating chia dry, straight from the package. You need to hydrate it first. Let the seeds soak in a little water, yogurt, or milk for a few minutes. Do you know why? The dry seed is like a locked safe. Water is the key that opens this safe and releases all the nutrients inside, facilitating digestion and ensuring your body absorbs everything, especially the powerful omega-3. It's a simple step that makes all the difference. Therefore, understand chia not just as a source of calcium, see it as a protective shield. While it provides the blocks to build strong bones, it acts as a firefighter, putting out that silent inflammation that, without you realizing it, could be sabotaging all your efforts to stay firm and independent for many, many years. Poppy seed, maximum concentration of calcium. Think with me, how can something so small, a tiny seed that looks like a black dot, be a giant for our health? I know that when we talk about calcium for the bones, the first thing that comes to your mind is a glass of milk, isn't it? That's what we've learned our whole lives. But what no one tells you is that there are hidden treasures in nature that are much more powerful. And today I need to tell you about one of them, the poppy seed. It may seem like an exaggeration, but by weight, this little seed can have more than 10 times the amount of calcium as milk. That's right, you heard correctly. It's a very high concentration, a true gift to our structure, to our ability to come and go safely. Over more than 15 years of caring for people, I see the real fear that a fall represents. The fear of a broken bone, of losing independence, of becoming dependent on help for the simplest things. That's why finding such potent sources of calcium is a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not just the calcium that comes in this little package. The poppy seed brings along its best friends, minerals like phosphorus, manganese, and magnesium. Think of them as the workers on a construction site. Calcium is the brick, essential, but it's these other minerals that help carry the brick to the right place and fix it to the wall, which in our case is the bones. Without them, the calcium can get lost along the way. Now pay attention, because here comes a detail that makes all the difference and that almost nobody knows. It's not enough to just throw the seed into your food. For our body to absorb all this richness, the ideal is to grind the seeds before using them. Imagine that each seed is a small safe. If you swallow the whole safe, your body can't open it. But if you grind it, you are delivering the treasure on a platter, ready to be used. A small spoonful in yogurt, on fruit, or in a salad already makes a huge difference. It's a simple boost that costs nothing to include in your routine, and that works silently to keep you on your feet, firm and strong for many, many years. Whole sesame, the king of calcium and copper. Think with me, when the subject is strong bones, what's the first thing you were taught your whole life? To drink milk, right? To eat cheese, yogurt. We grew up hearing that calcium came from there. But what no one tells you is that there is a treasure in nature, a powerful little seed that can have up to 8 times more calcium than milk itself. I'm talking about sesame, but pay attention, it's not just any kind. It has to be the whole one, the one with the hull. That's where the richness lies. Over more than 15 years of practice, I have seen the panic in the eyes of many patients with a diagnosis of osteoporosis. That fear of a simple fall turning into a serious fracture, which takes away autonomy, which keeps us at home. And that's why I need to alert you to the importance of looking beyond the obvious. But the story doesn't stop at calcium. Here's a detail that makes all the difference and that almost nobody mentions. Think of your bone as the wall of a house. Calcium is the bricks, which make the wall hard, strong. But what's the use of a pile of bricks stacked without anything to join them? Any strong wind will knock everything down. This binder, this cement that joins the bricks and gives flexibility and resistance to the structure in our body is called collagen. And the good news is that whole sesame is very rich in copper, an essential mineral that your body uses to produce strong and healthy collagen. The problem is that if you eat the whole seed, it will enter and leave your body in the same way, without releasing these nutrients. Its hull is a real armor. To access this power, you need to consume it freshly ground or in the form of a paste, the famous tahini. This way, you ensure not only the bricks, but also the cement to build truly resistant bones, which give you the security to walk, to bend down, to live without fear. It's nature giving you a complete solution, the raw material and the tool to use it in the smartest way. Additional pillars: sun and physical exercise. Pay attention. It's no use putting the best fertilizer in the soil if the plant doesn't get sun. With our bones, the logic is the same. Many people focus only on what they eat, but what no one tells you is that there are 2 vital secrets that activate the strength within you, and without them, the best food in the world loses its power. Think with me. The first of these secrets is the sun. I'm not talking about spending the day at the beach, not at all. I'm talking about a simple habit, 15 to 20 minutes a day, preferably with arms and legs exposed. This heat on the skin works like a switch. It turns on the production of a substance that I call the calcium postman, the famous vitamin D. Without it, the calcium you consume, whether in milk or seeds, gets lost in the body, not knowing where to go. Vitamin D is what takes this calcium by the hand and leads it directly into the bones, where it will build your fortress. Without sun, there's no postman. And without a postman, the delivery for your bone health never reaches its destination. The second pillar is movement. I see in my daily practice people who improve their diet but continue to have fragile bones. Why? Because the body is intelligent. If you don't use a structure, it understands that it's not necessary. A sedentary lifestyle is a silent enemy that whispers to your bones, "You can get weaker, nobody is using you." Every step you take on a walk, every small effort in weight training, sends a mechanical message, a warning to your skeleton. It's as if you were saying, "Hey, I'm here. I need you to be strong to support me." This impact, this tension, stimulates the cells to build more bone, to make the structure denser and more resistant. The good news is that you don't need to become an athlete. A simple walk in the neighborhood already sends this signal. Therefore, understand once and for all, the health of your bones depends on a trio. The food is the brick, the sun is the switch that allows the work to happen, and the exercise is the foreman who commands the construction. One cannot live without the other. The bone thieves, habits that harm. Pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you is something I see every day in my office, but that almost no one talks about openly. There are silent thieves inside your own home, perhaps even on your plate, that are stealing the strength from your bones without you realizing it. And no, I'm not talking about anything complicated. I'm talking about habits that seem harmless, but that, day after day, weaken the structure that keeps you standing. Think with me. Have you ever stopped to analyze how much salt you consume? That extra salt on the salad, in the beans, in processed foods, it does much more than raise your blood pressure. What no one tells you is that for every extra pinch, your body has to work twice as hard to get rid of that excess through urine. And in this cleaning process, it ends up dragging along the calcium, the precious mineral that should be strengthening your bones. It's as if you were literally flushing your safety and your independence down the drain. Another silent enemy lives in that bottle of cola-based soda. That cool drink contains a substance called phosphoric acid, which creates a real mess in your body's balance. This acid directly interferes with how calcium is used, sabotaging the bone-building work. Over more than 15 years of practice, I have seen the damage this can do, and the list goes on. Excessive alcohol consumption and smoking are direct poisons for your bone-building cells, the osteoblasts. Imagine that your bones are a wall being constantly renovated by little workers. Alcohol and smoking intoxicate these workers, preventing them from doing the necessary repairs. As a result, the wall becomes fragile, full of flaws, ready to collapse at the first fall. These habits are not just choices, they are direct aggressors of your autonomy. Each of them is one more step towards fragility, pain, and the fear of no longer being able to support yourself. Action plan, a practical guide for daily life. Now think with me. Often we feel our hands are tied, waiting for a problem to appear before we try to fix the damage, right? With bone health, it's the same thing. But what no one tells you is that your kitchen and your routine can be the first line of defense against the weakening that comes without making a sound. Pay attention, because what I'm going to show you now is not a crazy diet. It's a practical and intelligent action plan for your day-to-day life. Start the day differently. You know that little seed called chia? Imagine it as a small brick for your structure. You don't have to eat the seed plain. Make a pudding the night before, mixing it with a little milk or yogurt. The next day, you have a creamy, delicious breakfast that is already working in your favor. Another well-kept secret is tahini. Have you heard of it? It's simply a paste made from sesame, very rich in calcium. Instead of using mayonnaise or butter on your bread, try spreading a thin layer of tahini. Or, even better, use it as a dressing on your salad. The taste is delicious, and you are strengthening your bones in a way you don't even notice. To top it off, always have whole sesame seeds on hand to sprinkle over your finished food, whether it's on rice and beans or in a soup. It's a small gesture with a huge impact. But the good news is that building a strong skeleton doesn't just depend on what you eat. I need to warn you. You can take all the calcium in the world, but if your body doesn't know how to use it, it's useless. That's where two powerful allies come in. The first is the sun. Just 15 minutes a day on your arms and legs, preferably in the morning sun, activates vitamin D, which is the key that opens the door of the cells for calcium to enter. The second is movement. A simple daily walk tells your body, hey, I'm active. I need strong bones to support me. This combination of strategic foods, a little sun, and a light walk creates a true internal armor, protecting your independence and your freedom to come and go. Now you understand that the strength of your bones doesn't depend on a miracle, but on a decision. Your decision today. My challenge is simple. Include a spoonful of sesame, chia, or poppy seeds in your next meal right now. It's a small gesture to shield your independence and keep you on your feet. Tell me in the comments, did you already know the power of these seeds, or was it a surprise? I want to know what you thought of this revelation. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of those you love.